Hello, everyone. Another Wednesday is here, and we're going to spend just a few minutes together with the Word today, whether this is morning, afternoon, evening. Maybe it's not even a Wednesday when you're watching this, but I just wanted to spend a few minutes just sharing with you just some thoughts that the Lord brought to mind as I was reading this past week. And if you've been following along with the reading plan that we've been doing together as a church, we are reading through the first 5 books of the Old Testament, and we're nearing the end of Genesis. And this past week, we came across two key characters. One is Jacob, and then the other is his son Joseph. And I thought there was an interesting correlation and connection between these two people. And I hope that maybe it's true of us today as well. And maybe if not, that we are challenged today to make sure that we are living our life in such a way that that is true of us. And the reality is this, that for both Jacob and Joseph, it was evidently clear that God was with them in the midst of whatever was going on in their life. The presence of God in their life impacted not just them, but it impacted the people around them. In Genesis chapter 35, starting in verse 1, it says, "Then God said to Jacob, 'Get ready and move to Bethel and settle there. Build an altar there to God, who appeared to you when you fled from your brother Esau.' So Jacob told everyone in his household, 'Get rid of all of your pagan idols, purify yourselves, and put on clean clothing. We are now going to Bethel, where I will build an altar to the God who answered my prayers when I was in distress. He has been with me wherever I have gone.'" Today, can you say just with confidence that no matter what is going on in your life right now, no matter what distress you've been facing, maybe no matter what difficult circumstances you're navigating and walking through, can you say, just like Jacob, that God, has been with me wherever I have gone? But it wasn't just Jacob who experienced the presence of God. It was also very clear with his son Joseph. And I know the story of Joseph is familiar to a lot of us who've spent much time reading in the Bible. These are really popular stories, especially the story of Joseph and his brother, and as they got angry with him and sold him into slavery. But look what it says in Genesis chapter 39, verse 1. It says, "When Joseph was taken to Egypt by the Ishmaelite traders, he was purchased by Potiphar, an Egyptian officer. Potiphar was captain of the guard of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. The Lord was with Joseph, so he succeeded in everything he did as he served in the home of his Egyptian master. And Potiphar noticed this and realized that the Lord was with Joseph, giving him success in everything he did." Again, just like with Jacob, when Jacob recognized that God was with him in all of his distress and difficult circumstances, here it's not just Joseph who's acknowledging that God was with him, but actually Potiphar could see it in Joseph's life. He saw all the things that Joseph was doing, even though he had been sold into slavery, even though he had been taken away from his family. There was this success that was happening in the midst of these difficult circumstances. And Potiphar could see this wasn't because Joseph was so great, but it was because Joseph was with God and that God was with him. So I just want to encourage us today. Are we living our life knowing that God is with us? And are we being intentional to be with him? Because it requires both of those things. We know that God is with us, but we also have to be intentional to make sure that we're spending time with him. As I was reading those, it reminded me in the New Testament, in Acts, not long after all of the gospel stories and all that we learn about the life of Jesus. But in Acts chapter 4, verse 13, it's talking about Peter and John. It says this, it says that the members of the council were amazed when they saw the boldness of Peter and John, for they could see that they were ordinary men with no special training in the scriptures. They also recognized them as men who had been with Jesus. So today, can we live our life in a way that not only are we with Jesus, but the people around us, they can recognize that. They can see that there's something different in our life. No matter the distress, the difficult situations or circumstances, no matter the challenges that we're facing, it is so clear to us that God is with us, but it's also clear to those who are around us. So let's live that way. Let's live in such a way that people know God is with us. Have a great day.